UFC Fight Night RoboCop versus the the Killer Gorilla has just wrapped up. Makes it sound so much more badass when you put it like that. But Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodriguez wrapped up. Pretty good card. Some interesting fights. Some not so great fights, but some pretty good performances. Uh, First fight of the night was Calvacante versus Alvia. I didn't watch this fight. I missed this fight. I don't think people really want to hear about my analysis of Jacqueline Calavacante versus Julia Alvia. I think Avila, whatever her name is, retired. So, congrats. But Jacqueline gets this one done. Then we had Dontel Mays versus Volta Walker. This was a pretty interesting one. Volta Walker, during the face-offs, just uh, sprawled. I think, yeah, he knee sprawled to Dontel Mays, which was pretty cool. It was like Paul Craig, he does it like, the baited Paul Craig walks up and faces off with his opponents. The Chad, Volta Walker, he fucking skids his way there. He does his, he sprawls his way there, which I thought was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. But, he goes in the fight, gets a takedown, and gets a knee lock. Or a heel hook, sorry. He probably could just keep heel hooking all these fat guys, to be honest. Like, it's not a technique a lot of these guys at the heavyweight division know or even work on. And, the thing with Dontel Mays is, a lot of these heavyweights, they've never seen it before. Dontel Mays, my brother, you've been caught with it before. You got heel hooked by Cyril Gahn. This isn't the first time he's ever seen a heel hook. He got heel hooked very, very recently. Well, not very recently. It was 6 years ago. But it's been 6 years. You should have worked on some heel hook defense, for God's sake. Seriously, what are you doing? How have you not figured out how to defend a heel hook after all that time? You'd think, maybe people see this as an Achilles heel of mine, but instead he just gets caught in it again. I was worried about this pick, but Volta Walker made pretty easy work here, and when you think about it, makes Junior Taffa look a bit better. He lasted a bit longer than Dontel Mays, but still, good performance by Volta Walker. Then we had Elijah Smith versus Vince Morales. This fight was crazy. This was a crazy fight, to be honest with you guys. Back and forth fight on the feet. Elijah Smith much cleaner on the feet. Vince Morales much better on the ground. Had some good submission attempts, good takedowns. He looked very good in this fight. Did Vince Morales, even in a losing performance, he looked pretty good. Even in the third round, he was getting boxed up, had his nose broken. Clearly lost the third round. He was getting hit with a lot of shots. He'd been battered a little bit. But he came very close to getting, I think it might have been a bulldog choke, or he was going for something that looked very reminiscent of a bulldog choke. Almost gets with a few seconds to go, but I think the damage that Elijah Smith had done in the third round was enough to get him the win. Lots of big shots, broke his nose, busted him up, but got so many submission attempts. I actually want to look at the UFC stats to see how many attempts they counted. Because it was he was throwing up 5 or 6 different attempts. He was going for submission after submission. They gave him 3 submission attempts. I feel it was more than that. Maybe a lot of them weren't as close as they appeared. But he went for a Peruvian necktie at one point, which was pretty cool. He didn't fully have it in, obviously. But you could see he was attempting it because he has got that submission before. Vince Morales after he got cut on the regional scene, he actually got a Peruvian necktie submission win. So that would have been cool to see. But Elijah Smith, ended up getting out and ended up securing himself the W. So congrats to Elijah Smith. Then we had Gabriel Bonfim versus Chaos Williams. My first incorrect pick of the night. I picked Chaos Williams. I was feeling really confident in this performance until he immediately got taken down. Because, the thing with Chaos Williams, you go back and watch his previous fights, he always had really good takedown defense, or at least good get-ups. And he did showcase this in this fight, to be fair. He showed his ability to get up to the feet quite a lot, got out of bad positions. But yeah, Bonfim was just too much of a dog. Too much of a dog in there. Yeah, he was strong. He looked a lot bigger, but Chaos Williams landed some big shots, but nothing super clean, nothing super flush. Like I think he was very well capable of winning this fight by KO, but Bonfim was fighting very smart, fighting on with his jab, fighting very defensively sound compared to his other performances. He didn't go crazy, which is, the smart thing to do. The reason I picked Williams was because I didn't picture Bonfim would go in there and fight a smart game plan, because a lot of these fighters don't do that. But he actually fought a very smart game plan. He didn't go in there headhunting, going crazy, because if he would have done that, he would have just got caught with a big shot by Williams. But yeah, a lot of good striking, a lot of leg kicks from both men. They were both heavy with the leg kicks, and I think the leg kicks were getting more to Chaos Williams than they were to Bonfim. But I feel like if Chaos Williams added some body rips to his game, and he did go for some body rips, but I feel like if he made it, what's the word I'm looking for here? If he got a bit more cleaner with his body shots, I feel like he would set up those big shots to the head a lot easier than what he's doing, because he just recklessly goes forward, which I know it works for like a Dricus du Plessis, but I don't know if Chaos Williams is a Dricus du Plessis. I don't think he is. So, Dricus du Plessis, it works for him, but he's also got pretty long arms. Actually, I think Chaos Williams got the same reach as him. He's actually got a longer reach, so yeah. Maybe he just needs to go more guns to... he just needs to go more guns to the wall. Just don't care. Just keep going forward, land a big shot. I think maybe that's why Dricus' style works a bit more. He just doesn't stop moving forward. Williams was sort of getting backed up at some points by Bonfim. If he would have kept the pressure going, may have had more success here, but... Bonfim ends up getting a choke, chokes him unconscious. Williams looked like weirdly happy. Sometimes that happens when guys get put out cold. They wake up a lot happier. Or, I remember Terence McKinney got knocked out with a head kick by Esteban Rivovic, and he was smiling afterwards. It was very similar to that, but it was like he was laughing. He's like, "You son of a bitch, you got me." It felt like that. I'm sure it wasn't that, but it felt like he was like, "Oh, you know what? Fair play, he got me." But yeah, good performance by Gabriel Bonfim. He's now on a 2-fight winning streak after losing to Nicholas Dalby. Crazy. Then we had Rafael Estevam versus Jesus Aguilar. I went with Esteban, and he won. Good performance, good grappling. Jesus Aguilar, he's always going to have that guillotine. It's his signature move, Randy Orton has the RKO. Jesus Aguilar has the fucking modified guillotine. The one-armed guillotine. He's always going for that guillotine. Even against Tatsuro Taira, he had him in that guillotine for a bit. But yeah, it didn't work for him this time. Just got sort of out-grappled. The third round, he came on pretty strong. He was landing some big shots. Rafael Estevam, we got to mention this. He's not got a great gas tank. Could be because he fights at a pretty high pace. Maybe if he fought at a more of a leisured pace, wasn't going too crazy the first 2 rounds, maybe we'd see this guy, be able to go strong in the third if he, went a bit not as hard. That could be a reason. Or maybe he just doesn't have a good gas tank in general. So it's hard to know. A lot of these guys could have better gas tanks if they, if they just pace themselves a little bit. So it could have been the pace, but yeah, he clearly gassed in the third round, landed some big shots on him, but he clearly won the fight, gets a 29-28 decision. He's on a good streak. Jesus Aguilar, Charles Johnson, these are good wins to have. Especially Charles Johnson, who's on a 5-fight winning streak now. He's on a crazy streak. He's beat some really good guys as well. And he doesn't really get taken down very often. Muhammad Makayev couldn't take him down. He could get him down, but he couldn't hold him down. Esteban actually held him down in their fight. Third round, he was getting pieced up like every fight, it seems like, for this guy. But, I find that actually pretty impressive. If you can take down Charles Johnson, you can probably take down most guys in this flyweight division. So that's he's probably a guy to keep your eye on. But in a 5-rounder, he'll get absolutely cooked if he doesn't pace himself. Because he was fighting who's somebody gassed? He was fighting round 5 Edmund Shabazian. He was looking real gassed. And I know we haven't seen round 5 Edmund Shabazian, but can't imagine he would be looking very crash hot in those rounds. Then moving on up, we had Angela Hill versus Ketlin Souza. Angela Hill wins. Good performance. I picked Ketlin Souza, but Angela Hill is still winning at 40 years of age. Yeah, fair play. She finally won a split decision. Normally the split decisions go against her. So that was good to see for her. Then moving on, we have Jesus Delgado knocking out Conor Matthews 2 minutes into the, or almost 3 minutes into the first round. Great performance by Jesus Delgado. Looked very good in this fight. Very good striker. He is a very good striker. Gets the top mount in the fight as well. That was pretty cool to see. Beats up on him. Pretty much the whole fight he was beating up on him. It didn't seem like Conor Matthews had much success. Then he also landed like a spinning back fist or a spinning elbow. I can't remember which one it was, what cut Conor Matthews, but didn't drop him. But then he ends up dropping him, getting on top of him in top mount and just battering him out cold. Great performance. Conor Matthews isn't the greatest fighter, so I'm not going to like completely jump on the hype train, but we might have somebody with this guy. This guy could be pretty good. I think he trains out of the MMA lab. Yeah, actually, yeah, he definitely does, because Jared Cannonier mentioned him in his post-fight interview. So yeah, that's another guy in the MMA lab coming up. You got Clayton Carpenter. You got Sean O'Malley, who's there, obviously. Marcus McGee. Mario Batista. Like they have some really good fighters training at the gym, especially in the lower weight classes. Like they are some good bodies you can train with. Which I like. I like that there is gyms like that where they got all these smaller bodies. I feel like it's gonna really benefit these guys when they get to the higher level training with these guys. Especially because you've got grapplers like Mario Batista, you've got technical strikers like Sean O'Malley, then you've got all very well-rounded fighters like Clayton Carpenter, and then you got powerhouses like Marcus McGee. Like it feels like there's a lot of guys who can really prepare you for that next level. Like Marcus McGee would be the perfect training partner to fight a guy like Josh Emmett, if Jose Delgado ever fights Josh Emmett. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. He just beat Conor Matthews. We'll see how his career goes. Then we had the first fight of the night for the main card, which was Rodolfo Vieira versus Andre Petroski. I sort of think this fight could have gone either way. I don't think it was the complete masterclass that maybe the unanimous decision made it appear to be. I feel like this really could have gone to Rodolfo Vieira, but I understand why it went to Petroski. It was a pretty close fight, but I feel like Vieira sort of let himself lose this fight. I feel like he could have got a TKO. I feel like he could have knocked out Petroski. Hurt him a lot. Clearly had the better boxing, but sort of just let Petroski off the hook quite a lot in this fight. I feel like he could have been moving forward a lot more, landing big shots, going to the body. Like he would shoot a lot, but none of those takedowns would do anything. I feel like he should have feinted more with takedowns and landed big shots. But Petroski's striking did look improved, because I've said before, he's normally just an overhand guy, doesn't really have much else. But he introduced some body kicks, some body rips. He was 1-2s, so he's improving, which is pretty good. He has improved a lot since The Ultimate Fighter in 2021, so I do like that. He's continuing to improve. I don't like his tattoos. I'm just gonna say that. So sometimes I might root against him because of his tattoos, but if you know, you know. But yeah, good performance by Andre Petroski. He gets it done. And yeah, he's on I think he's on a 2-fight winning streak now, he might be on a 3-fight winning streak, because I know he beat Dylan Budka, and then he also beat Josh Frem, but I'm not sure if Frem was before or after he got chinned by Michel Pereira. But you could do him versus Gregor Rodriguez next. He called up Bo Nickel. I'm pretty sure Bo Nickel's fighting Paulo Costa. That seems like it's likely going to be happening next. So I'm not sure, but I wouldn't mind seeing Gregor Rodriguez. You could do him versus Andre Petroski. They're both unranked. I wouldn't say that Andre Petroski really deserves a ranked opponent, but yeah, I wouldn't mind that fight. But yeah, Andre Petroski gets it done. Then we had Nazim Sadikov versus Ismail Bonfim. I picked Nazim Sadikov. Oh yeah, I picked with Vieira for that last fight as well, and Delgado. But I think everyone was picking Delgado. But yeah, Nazim Sadikov beats Ismail Bonfim. It wasn't looking too good for him in this fight. Bonfim was landing some big shots, but it's that head kick. Nazim Sadikov has an amazing head kick. He lands it, cuts his eye open, or at least the bottom of his eye it shuts his eye. He can't see, and he wins. he's now got 2 doctor stoppages, which is crazy. That is a crazy stat to have 2 doctor stoppages in your last like 4 wins. They got to start calling him the Doctor or something like that, and Nazim the Doctor Sadikov, because like he's not even getting the chance to knock these guys out, because the doctors are just stopping all of his fights. He's inflicting a lot of scar tissue or taking away the vision of his opponents. But it was a good performance. Ismail Bonfim, I never rated him that highly. I know he beat Terence McKinney. I think he beat somebody after Terence McKinney too, didn't he? I don't think he beat Terence McKinney and just lost to BSD, did he? That's surely not right. Let me check. I swear he beat somebody after he beat McKinney. He could. No, he beat McKinney and then immediately lost to Benoit Saint Denis. He's 2-2 in the UFC. That's crazy. That is actually crazy, to be fair. I could have sworn he fought somebody else, but no, he just went in there, chinned McKinney, and then lost. But yeah, Nazim Sadikov, great performance. He's on a pretty good streak at the moment when you look at it. His last fight was actually the draw to Slava Claus, but then he beat McKinney, beat Evan Elder. So yeah, he's on a pretty good streak right now, only lost in his debut. I wouldn't mind seeing him get a step up. I think you could probably give him a ranked opponent. Maybe you could do Nazim Sadikov versus Faresi Zam, maybe. That would be a good fight. Or you could do Nazim Sadikov versus like a Grant Dawson. Or if you want to keep him, not get a ranked opponent yet, then you could probably do him versus... who's like a good fight outside the rankings to do for Nazim Sadikov? Because I feel like he deserves a pretty good step up. Maybe you could do him versus the winner of Chase Hooper, Jim Miller, something like that. There are some good fights. He deserves like somebody just on the outskirts of the rankings though, after like all these performances, because he's looking pretty good. He's on a good streak of things. Then moving on up on the card, we had Edmund Shabazian versus Dylan Budka. I can't believe people were picking Dylan Budka to win this fight. I know Edmund Shabazian did get subbed by GM3, but it's fucking GM3. GM3 is levels above Dylan Budka. Like, I don't want to shit on Dylan Budka, but he's not UFC level. He's not a good fighter. He only has wrestling. His striking is like pretty much non-existent. He has no threat on the feet. And then his wrestling, he doesn't really have like crazy ground and pound either. Like, I'm honestly surprised Dana signed this guy, because his fight on Dana White Contender Series wasn't even good either. And he got put on chicken legs in this fight as well. He got badly hurt, chinned. He'd also been chinned by Almeida before, and he lost to Petrovsky. So he's got 3 losses. That's probably it from the UFC. I can't imagine they're going to keep him around. He's 7-5. That is a crazy record to be in the UFC. I don't see him beating anybody either. Like, I'd never seen him ever. Like, I've never picked him to win a fight in the UFC, and I never will, because I don't think he's going to be in the UFC anymore. I know it feels like I'm really badly shitting on Dylan Budka. I just think he probably could be good, but I feel like he got signed to the UFC a lot quicker than he probably should have. He should have developed his striking a bit more. He's still young. Like, he's like 25. He can rebound on the regional scene, though. I don't think he should be in the UFC anymore. I think he should go find his craft, work on his striking, work on some kickboxing, go take some kickboxing matches, some boxing matches or something. Like, just go work on your striking defense. And who knows, maybe we'll see him rejuvenated in a couple years' time. But for now, yeah, you got to be out of the UFC after those 3 fights. As for Edmund Shabazian, I like the step downs. I don't think you go in there and, alright, you know what, he's won a fight, let's go give him fucking, I don't know, who's like, let's give him Jared Cannonier. Like, I don't think you go and do that for Edmund Shabazian. I think for Edmund Shabazian, you've got to keep him on this lower level of competition. You got to do like a fight like him versus Petrovsky. I wouldn't mind that, him versus Petrovsky. Oh, even like, I don't know, there's like plenty of fights you can do for him. Like, who is, maybe even like a Petrovsky's like too high ranked for him right now. I feel like there is there is a lot of other better guys you could do. Let me go look at the UFC middleweight rankings. Like, there is some guys Edmund Shabazian could definitely beat. Oh, this is not this is UFC middleweight rankings. Let's look. Okay, let's have a look. I feel like you could do like Edmund Shabazi and he fought Dylan Budker. Dylan Budker is more than likely at the bottom of the. He is. He's quite literally at the bottom. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. You could do Edmund Shabazian versus Antonio Tricoli. Like I don't care. I know this is a guy who beat Brad Tavares at one point, Edmund Shabazian, but I like him having a step down in competition. Let's not rush him to get murdered again. Let's have him fight these lower level comp guys. Let's get him some wins. You could do him versus Dusko Todorovic. I think they're actually scheduled to fight at one point. Reschedule that fight. Like, why would you just keep getting him in there and putting him like, have him fight Dumas if Dumas gets knocked out by, Michelle Olachechik. Do that. Or even have him fight Olachechik. Have him fight Al Hassan. Like, let's get him some fun fights, but let's not just rush him in there to get murdered again. He's still very young. This is the thing with Edmund Shabazian. He can build back his momentum, but let's not keep rushing him back in there. You know, alright, he's won one fight. Let's give him the next massive killer in his division. He's 27. And at middleweight, these guys can be fighting until like they're in their 40s. You know, I don't see the need to rush this guy. You know, let him take some step back in competition. Let him find his confidence, and who knows? Maybe one day Edmund Shabazian will live up to that dark horse potential people gave him. But anyway, I've spent way too much talking about this fight. It was literally I've spent more time talking about this fight than it actually lasted. Then we had the co-main event: Calvin Kattar versus Yusuf Zalal. This was crazy. I'd actually seen people calling. For I've seen people calling for some bad stuff to happen to Yusuf Zalal after this performance. Let's just say that. I want to make sure this video is monetized, so I'm not going to say what they were calling for, but just I don't know. Let's just say they wanted to put him in the gulag. People were not happy with his performance. He looked good. I'm going to say he did look good, but I think a lot of it is also just Calvin Kattar didn't look very. He did look good until the third round, and when he started throwing punches, he actually had success. That is the annoying part about Calvin Kattar. He is a slow starter, that is known. We all know he's a slow starter. I wasn't picturing him to go out there and win the first round or anything like that. But he was finding his reads in the first round, but then in the second, he just didn't go back to them. His takedown defense looked good. I'd said he wasn't going to get mauled on the ground by Yusuf Zalal. A lot of people thought that was going to be the play here. That was never going to happen. Zalal isn't Aljamain Sterling. Like, Sterling is a much better grappler. I know I'm going to come off salty because I picked Calvin Kattar. But I'm just saying, I told everybody in my video, he's not going to go out there and wrestle fuck Calvin Kattar. So I feel like I got a moral victory there because he didn't get a single takedown. The closest takedowns he got, Calvin Kattar just bounced right back up. He wasn't Aljo. Aljo's the second or the first best grappler at featherweight. Like that, he's like a different level of grappler. He isn't a Yusuf Zalal is not that level of grappler. He's a great striker, very well rounded, but still. But Calvin Kattar, man, come on, you were so close in that first round. You were actually doing so good, and I feel like there was nothing stopping him from doing that in the second and first round. Like, when he actually lets his hands go, he's still very good. And Yusuf Zalal wasn't landing any like crazy shots that hurt him or put him on notice. But he was running a lot. People were calling him he's a sprinter and a track star. That type of stuff. And I get it. I get why people were saying that. He was running quite a lot. But, fought a very good game plan. I don't like it personally. I don't like when fighters do that. But you got to win these fights. He's on a 4-fight winning streak now. He's on a good streak. He's going to be ranked. And he's living up to the potential people thought he had a couple of years ago before this guy called Ilia Topuria beat him on short notice, and then he went on a bit of a losing streak. And then he went to a draw with Damon Blackshear, but he's just beat Calvin Kattar, so how good are bantamweights? How good is the GOAT? Oh my god, I can't remember his name. This is so bad. The GOAT. Oh, he'll come to me. Chris Montinho. How good is Chris Montinho? He beat Damon Blackshear, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he either beat him or went to a draw with him. I'm going to check, because it's going to bother me if I don't remember it. I think it was in the amateurs, though, but... Let me check. Damon Blackshear. Yeah, he beat Damon Blackshear by unanimous decision. Just how good are the lower weight classes? Because Damon Blackshear went to a draw with the monster that is Yusuf Salal. Craziness. But he has improved a lot. He has really improved a lot. I wasn't too sold on him because the level of comp hasn't been great, but Calvin Guitar's still like a legit guy. Hope they give Calvin Guitar another shot because he clearly beat Josh Emmett all those years ago. So I know he's technically on a 4-fight losing streak, but it should be only a 3-fight losing streak. And one of those was also a fucking injury loss as well. So you could argue he's only lost 2 fights properly, which is the Aljo fight and the Zalal fight, but still. Then we had the main event, Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodriguez. RoboCop, why? No, RoboCop. I love RoboCop, but this is sad to see. He was looking so good in the first round, dropped him twice, dropped Jared twice, was beating up on him. And then he just sort of gassed out from beating the shit out of Jared Cannonier too much. Like, that is a crazy struggle. Imagine beating the fuck out of someone so badly that you gas out and get knocked out yourself. That's got to be a really frustrating way to lose. But that's what happened. That is the story for Gregory Rodriguez. Big shot after big shot. Elbow in the third round drops him. And he ends up surviving. But there was like 10 seconds left in the round. He survived somehow. But he did not recover. That's the thing with RoboCop. I don't think he necessarily has a horrible chin. But I feel like once he gets hurt, his recovery is awful. He might have some of the worst recovery in the UFC. Fun fighter, love the guy. But yeah, if you buzz RoboCop, it's more than likely going to be over. It takes this guy a while to recover. Because his feet... He still didn't have his feet while he was in his corner. Going into the 4th round, he was completely out of it on his feet, it appeared. And, he ends up getting pieced up, gets dropped, and it's over. Like, that ends it. It makes sense. I feel like his corner at that point, you maybe shouldn't have let him go out there, but I get it. He had got 2 knockdowns. Jared can be hurt, so maybe they were thinking, there's an opportunity you could get him out of there, but unfortunately not. Ends up losing. It sucks for RoboCop, but for Jared Cannonier, 41 years of age almost. He's going to be 41 next month. And he's still beating these guys. Like, he's 9 years older than Gregory Rodriguez. And you're out cardioing and breaking him. That is crazy to me. He is in great form. It's actually crazy. He seems to get better with age. I mean, his last fight, he got absolutely massacred by Caio Borralho. But he's somehow still alright, because he seems to get hurt and dropped in every fight. I don't even know if you can call Jared chinny. I feel like Hip and RoboCop are on like opposite ends of the recovery spectrum. RoboCop gets hurt, he can't recover. Jared Cannonier gets hurt, I don't know, it morphs him even better. He gets stronger if you hurt him. Like, he recovers, and he gets better. Like, I don't know, maybe it's the power of crystals. Who knows, because he really loves his crystals. Maybe RoboCop needs to invest in some crystals, but that is crazy. Like, Jared Cannonier gets hurt in every fight. Against Marvin Vettori, gets hurt. Actually, he gets hurt in every fight except for the Israel Adesanya fight. That's the only fight where Jared Cannonier didn't get badly hurt. Like, that's the only fight he hasn't been dropped or hurt in. Even against Sean Strickland, he was wobbled. Vettori wobbled. Amavov obviously got badly hurt. Early stoppage, but he was badly hurt. Caio Borralho killed him 2 times. Brunson dropped him. I don't know if I mentioned that. Who else did he fight? I swear he gets hurt. Whitaker badly hurt him. He gets hurt in every single fight, but he never really gets put out. He never gets knocked out. Besides the Amava fight, which was an early stoppage. He's weirdly got good recovery. But yeah, great performance. I'd love to see him versus the winner of I'd love to see Cannonier versus the winner of Brendan Allen versus Anthony Hernandez. You can't give him a top 5. He's coming off 2. He's 1 and 2 in his last 3. You can't just go in there and give him a top 5, especially because he's already fought all these guys. You got to do him versus Brendan Allen or Anthony Hernandez. I think he would knock out Brendan Allen, to be honest with you at this point, but I feel like Anthony Hernandez would actually be an interesting matchup because Cannonier's got really good takedown defense, so it'd be interesting to see how the fight would play out, because obviously Cannonier's also got good cardio, but Anthony Hernandez has amazing cardio, great pace, good boxing too. He could hurt Cannonier on the feet, and if he can take down Cannonier, then he can take down anyone, because Cannonier's takedown defense is still really good. So yeah, I feel like that'd be a good fight, especially if I think Anthony Hernandez probably beat Brendan Allen as well. So Hernandez versus Cannonier would be a crazy fight, especially a 5-rounder. Imagine that fight. But yeah, great performance by Cannonier. Comes back from some adversity, for almost 41 years of age, and he's still doing the damn thing. So fair play to him. I picked Gregory Rodriguez, but Jared Cannonier gets it done. Like he somehow recovers from all that damage and just doesn't get hurt by any of the other shots. It's so weird to me, but yeah, great performance by Jared Cannonier. And Robocop, he'll be back. He'll probably go and massacre some unranked middleweights, and then he'll probably be back in this position. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, put on notifications. Let me know what you thought of the card, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.